GoPros, are they all that? Once upon a time, I used to think they were, but nowadays, I'm not quite so sure. It's no secret that I'm in some kind of love-hate relationship with GoPro, which I imagine is not too dissimilar from being in a normal relationship where things keep going wrong. When they do, it's as if GoPro comes to me and says, I promise it won't happen again, and I believe them. So I go out and buy the next version of GoPro, and for a while things go really well until inevitably they do go wrong again and I find myself back at square one. To put things into some sort of context, I've been a professional cameraman for the last 25 years, and back in the day, if I wanted to get that action camera kind of shot, I personally had to use what was known as a bullet cam. So this was essentially a very small camera that looked a lot like a bullet. It was very easy to mount somewhere, but unfortunately it didn't have any means of recording actually in the camera. So you had to connect it via a wire to a recording device, usually another little camcorder or something. And as you can imagine, what you gained on the flexibility of the bullet cam, you kind of lost when you had to find somewhere to mount the recording device. And then in 2013, I bought my first ever GoPro. It was a GoPro Hero 3, and it's fair to say that it revolutionized the action camera filming that I needed to do in those days. The first thing that I was really impressed with was the image quality. It recorded at 1080p, which was far better than the bullet cam. The audio quality was much better. It had its own internal recording device, and it was also really easy to mount. It came with all of these kind of sticky mounts and other kinds of mounts, so it was just a really easy, fantastic camera to use. Since buying my first GoPro in 2013, I bought many of the other models as well. So I personally own a GoPro Hero 6, a Hero 7, a Hero 8, and the Hero 9, which I'm currently using at the moment. I'll be the first person to say that GoPros are pretty good cameras. The image quality is amazing, the sound quality is pretty good, the image stabilization is absolutely incredible, and they are really robust little pieces of kit. But for me personally, I would say they can be really unreliable. I need to know that when I hit that record button, it's going to record what I want, the way I want. And at the moment, unfortunately, I can't say that's true. For me, I would say I have about a 90% success rate. And when you're filming things professionally, things that perhaps you only have one opportunity of doing so, that is just unacceptable. At the risk of oversimplifying the problems that I have with the GoPros, they basically fall into two categories. The first one I'm going to call the classic GoPro freeze, and the next one is more to do with the image and the audio quality. As far as the freeze goes, when I hit that record button, I need to be reasonably confident that the GoPro will start recording and continue to record. And sadly, I can't say that that has always been the case. And it's a very similar story with the audio visual quality of the clips that I've been filming. There's been times when I've got the recording back and there has been a problem with either the picture or the audio. So the classic one for me is the split screening thing, or it hasn't recorded any audio at all. And again, when that happens, the footage is just completely unusable. Now, to be fair, any camera can experience faults from time to time. It's not exclusive to GoPros, but it just seems that if a camera's going to go wrong, it will nearly always be the GoPro. But not to worry, you speak to enough people and go online, hopefully you can find some solutions, and that's exactly what I've done. And it seems that the problems that the GoPro cameras experience are down to three things. The first one is the firmware. It's not running the latest version of the firmware, and indeed this is literally the first thing that GoPro themselves will suggest if you get in touch with their support. So I do that. I update the firmware on the cameras using the card and the software that I've downloaded from the GoPro website. but unfortunately that doesn't seem to improve things. The next thing that GoPro will suggest is looking at the SD cards that you're using. Are they the ones that they recommend? And again, yes, I use the cards that they themselves suggest. I've even tried using different cards and it doesn't seem to make much of a difference. Of course, the card itself could have a problem. It could be corrupt or something like that. So first thing I tried was formatting the card in the camera, and then I discovered that that probably won't solve any card corruption issues. So I've tried formatting it in my MacBook Pro. Again, doesn't seem to make any difference. And then I've tried using brand new cards from scratch, and again that seems to work for a little bit, but eventually I will still experience the same visual and audio problems. The final solution that GoPro will suggest is looking at the batteries that you use. They only recommend to use the GoPro branded batteries, and I personally have not used anything else. I only use GoPro branded batteries, but again, sadly, it doesn't seem to make any difference whatsoever. So the obvious question is, if I'm having so many issues with GoPros, why on earth do I still keep buying them? And the answer is very, very simple. For the most part, the GoPros work very well. It's just occasionally that they don't, and unfortunately for me, it's usually when I'm filming something pretty important. The other side of this argument is that up until now I haven't had a viable alternative, but with the rise of brands like Insta360 or the DJI action cameras, that's no longer the case. So I am exploring other options. I'll be honest and say that I personally haven't tried a GoPro Hero 11 myself yet, but I do know people that own them. And it seems that the opinion of the 11 is very mixed, with some of them saying that it's a very good, very reliable camera, but equally there are as many people saying that it's an unreliable camera with the same faults and issues of all of the previous models. And it's for this reason alone that I don't feel confident enough to go out and buy a Hero 11 just yet. For me, GoPros are a little too hit and miss at the moment, and this is why I probably won't buy another one for the foreseeable future. But what I will be doing is watching and waiting and listening to the reviews of the new models as they come out. And if I hear that the reliability has improved, I can easily see me buying another one in the future. Obviously, not getting the shots that you want when you want them can be very, very frustrating. And if you want to try out a camera that's a little bit more reliable than the GoPro, then I suggest you check out this video just here. Thanks for watching.